This ain't a scene. It's a gosh danged arm race. This ain't a scene. It's a gosh danged arm race. That is right. You're going to have to forgive me because I've been covering this exact specific storm for a long time. Technically, the moment it hit the models, but I started warning people as early as August 31st. Like, yeah, y'all, this is dangerous. Hey, flipping. Hey, mister. Just saying, you guys are going to have to forgive me if I'm a little punch drunk because I've been covering the storm forever. So it's kind of like fighting with your girlfriend for 2 straight weeks nonstop or whatever. Um, and so, yeah, we're looking at a situation, but this part is because I realized, man, I might have to go get a tire, you know, today. That's right. After this live broadcast, I'm going to leave and go get a new tire for my car. I don't know if I can afford it. I'm going to do it anyway. Because Da Boo just tweeted something from the National Hurricane Center. And I will be reading the comments after I run down everything. Because we got a lot to run down. I just want to do a quick rundown and then I'll get to the comments if you guys don't mind. New in the 2 p.m. Eastern Outlook, a tropical depression is likely to form in the central or western Gulf of Mexico by late Thursday. So that's 2 days away. And I've been like, man, things are so crazy. I bet we could see this turn into a hurricane. Plus, if you look at it, let's look at them, shall we, together? It looks like they're connected, man. Like, see how it's like binary hurricanes, or tropical depressions, whatever you want to call them. So, well, not only the power plants, but I think we're just beginning. Like, this isn't my first rodeo. And I was the guy last year who was like, we're going to get hit by multiple hurricanes. And, like, nobody believed me. And then we did. So, having done this whole scenario again, we're going to get hit by multiple hurricanes. So, when you see the pattern switch from the east, which is why I kept hammering at home all season, that when the pattern from over here switches, it literally almost switches. And there's Mangaha Nut, which could be the lowest pressured typhoon hurricane in history. So, when the whole pattern switches, which it just did, then we just started the cycle. So it's like 5 or 6 weeks of hurricanes. And so Cranky Weather Guy, who is like the number one guy I go to to talk to if I have like tell me what you think from your knowledge. He is sure, he thinks that Isaac, I don't know if I remember said Isaac, but because I'm worried about Helene. And he said like no. Helene's going to follow Isaac, so we don't have to really worry about Helene. But still, I think I'm the guy. It's my job to say, well, we should be a little concerned about her. Because if you look at it, I mean, it almost looks like if you didn't have tropical systems and depressions and hurricanes and categories, that looks like 4 major, massive, nasty storms headed west. And Mother Nature is soaking and soggy and everything before any of it gets here. So we have, a potential where everybody is on like never forget day. And another thing, I gotta apologize. I have 9/11 fatigue. Dave Chappelle did 3 brand new series, and in one of them he said, "Man, it's like 9/11 every day." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you are totally correct. It's like 9/11," because he's talking about the millennials. We're like, we are all like, "Oh my God, 9/11," and he's like, "For them, it's like 9/11 every day." And so, yeah, it's like just constant crisis, disaster, except these are real. And, right? And so, what did I want to, there's so much to talk to. Like, let's go to the sun right now real quick. See that, like, sun, what are you doing, man? Like the sun, and if you know me, I base everything. We check the sun first. Like, how crazy the weather's going to be? Well, let's look at the sun and see how crazy the sun look. And let me tell you, she's got, what we have here is the giant coronal hole. And like 70% of the time, a giant coronal hole faces us within the next 3 days, we get a big earthquake. And then I was like, well, that was weird. And then it's got like some planet flower in the middle. And now we have another giant coronal hole with another planet flower inside of it. So, yeah. And that's why I think we are now 48 hours out from Hurricane Florence landfall, barring a miracle. I would love to have people troll me like they trolled me after Comet Ison. When Comet Ison turned into a dud, I was like, yeah, dude, I didn't have anything to do with that. And it really wasn't a dud, in my opinion, because that thing ended up being almost as big as the sun. And then everything got super dusty and rainy. And so rain forms on dust. So, yeah, I don't know. Comet Ison, it just took a lot longer than I thought it would to make a major impact on Earth. But it happened. Am I crazy? And, oh, in your soundtrack for the day, it's They Say I'm Crazy. And, okay. And just one last thing about the 9/11 is I don't want to get into like any conspiracies and stuff. I just want to ask one question, and I don't want anybody to answer it because there's no real answer. It's rhetorical. Why did Building 7 fall? Yeah, that's not a conspiracy. It's a question, man. All right, so let's get to the hurricanes. We got Florence, Isaac, Helene, and then this thing. And the main reason I'm seriously, after this, going to go buy a tire. My front right tire has had tread for a long time. So, because this thing could be formed and moving into Texas by Friday. And so, if you look at this one, we'll look at which one we're looking first. If you look at this graph simplifies it for the kindergartners at home. See that? So that, if you're in Texas, technically by THORNEWS as your planetary defense commander, I think the Gulf is on high alert with this thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of my non-love life lately, where all I do is look around for sucker punches that I couldn't see coming, or ones that I could. That, like, what we were talking about is the system over here, right? That thing. And so they're saying it's going to head towards Texas, and I'm preparing, like, if this is going to spin and move, that it will go to Texas. But I don't know why. It kind of looks like it's growing towards Florida. And so Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and Georgia. Georgia, you were twice on high alert, just because I think somehow you're going to get the trickle-down effect of this, of both of them. Because, like I said, I need to find some screen pointer thing, but look how, like, they're both, this is no coincidence to me. The fact that you have two of these giant things puffing up, and we don't understand hurricanes completely. I think there's some type of celestial mechanics effect. It's kind of like sunspots they look like hurricanes on the sun, although they're always binary. And so I don't know how the two systems are going to move together, because the Fujiwara hurricane, or the binary hurricane, is new. It's a new thing. It's like when you play a video game, and every level, the boss comes up with new tricks. And so it seems to me, though, this hasn't formed yet. See how this one is like, it's the tilt down? And so that, look, they're on the same line. See that? Like, boom, and then over there, boom. And so that is definitely going to become something, I think. And so me being in the target path, I'd like to practice what I preach. And so, like I said, my entire family's grieving, so none of them want to hear about hurricanes in the middle of Texas. So I was thinking about going to Austin. Maybe I'll go be homeless in Austin for 3 days while the hurricane passes. But I think it's going south. But either way, everybody in the coast needs to stay on high alert from this thing. We got that? All right. Now we're going to move over to Florence. And I just want to say, like, the models have unified, supposedly, and they say it's going to hit souther. But I don't think anything is a lock. Oh, also, we have a G2 storm going on now, and our auroras are kicking. Another thing about 9/11, man, if you're on the media, you better be running your tributes without commercials, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what good is some funeral tribute from 17 years ago if you're making money off it. That's just weird. You know, they make a lot of money off tragedy, no matter what the tragedy is. Although with hurricanes, they'll wait until the tragedy's over before they all start talking about it and being like, it's so sad. If there was only something we could have done more. Did I mention I was kind of in a bad mood because I have Florence fatigue? Like, I don't even get the Serena Williams thing. Like, wait, I'm confused. Another woman beat another woman, and she got in a fight with the referee, and it was what? How are men jerks? Man, umpires have always been jerks. Doesn't matter what sport you're into. It's like they're that's their thing. It's like the stereotypical umpire. He's the guy nobody likes. You know? The players don't like him. The fans don't like him. He's an umpire. But somehow, now all umpires are jerks because they're men. I'm like, wait a second. No, I'm fine. Sign an executive order right now saying only women can umpire and officiate and make decisions on all female sports. Whatever it takes to get this men are horrible argument over, because we got real shit to worry about. So the geomagnetic storm is subsiding. Oh, my low energy bad mood might have timed right with these red bars. That's weird. Well, actually, it's not. Also, speaking of 9/11, oil was really low. And you notice since around then, oil has done really well. So, never forget. Okay, water level predictions for Florence. Oh, yeah, we're going to go back to the... Okay, and here's another thing. We are now less than 48 hours from the storm, and our 3 different models give us 3 different shells to look for the peanut under. And if you're in North Carolina or anywhere checking for information, I'm not being flippant. I'm just covering this straight storm for the 14th day. And so at this point, everybody should have their, by Asteroid Fight Club standards, your preparations as locked in as you can be. But so this is the Euro. The Euro has it as a tight rainmaker. The NAM has it south. The Euro has it souther. And then the GFS has it right up here. And at this point, if you were from like here to here, I would evacuate. And I know people talk about Raleigh. Raleigh's not worried about any major effects, but everything is so soggy in these rain levels. Ooh, let's check river levels. It's like we're on a date. It's like river flood map checking and chill. That doesn't sound very romantic. Oh, yeah. How's that situation look to you? Wait, I don't believe this map at all because it had 100. There we go. That's better. I was like, no, okay. All right, there's our rivers. Hello, everybody. And I'm in a bad mood if you just joined it. Not in a bad mood. I'm just low energy and disappointed. And how happy are you allowed to be on 9/11 day? Okay, so yeah, there's our flooding rivers. We have 9 at major flooding, meaning like, it's like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is major. And the other one's like, well, it's moderate flooding. Like, our electricity still works in some places. And then, so the storm is going to hit right below here, asterisk. I still don't. Most people are semi-sure it will happen between the tip of North Carolina to like right where the border meets. At this point, I don't know exactly where it's going to hit, and I know exactly what it's going to do. I have a feeling it's going to scoop up this way towards the Floody River part. But let's think of this hurricane season as a 4-week process. Maybe it will just hit and flood out this whole region. And so, whatever hurricanes are to follow over the next 4 or 5 weeks, any other hit along the coast would just be kind of like a possible knockout punch. So, as I've been talking about, if you have, let's say, 4 hurricane hits in one season, you have all those rivers flooding, and then you have here hit here, and then you have something hit Texas after Gordon already hit, and then Hawaii, Oliver's hitting. This could be major. It's almost like we were being attacked by aliens. And, it could be category 4, category 5. Now, it has come up in pressure. Like it got down to like 944 or 930 something. So it's back up to 955 last time I checked, like an hour ago. It looks like it has encountered some wind shear, but it still looks like a Cthulhu monster with like a giant head and then just tentacles. So if you were betting on this thing, like, is it destructive? It hasn't shown the exact skull signature we saw with Matthew yet, but I wouldn't use that to bet on your life. Tony Stark would have saved us from this. Yeah, but he must have chosen the wrong woman to date, because last time I saw him, he was on Joe Rogan smoking a blunt, which I'm not against, but I'm saying that, like, hanging out with Joe Rogan can wait until after civilization isn't teeter-tottering over a volcano and a giant hurricane. You know what I'm saying? It's way harder to put the Avengers together in real life than in the movies. Because, like, in the movies, they don't really have to deal with money and greed. And nobody really dates in the movies. Like the superheroes' dating lives are nothing like let's say musicians and athletes and then super smart people, talented artists, are like your real superheroes. Then usually their dating lives are really intertwined and people are getting in fights all the time and people are cheating. That shit don't happen in the superhero movies. Like you don't see Batman and Superman fighting over Wonder Woman. But in real life, I've seen that shit happen quite often. What am I talking about? Oh, yeah. So, ahead of the hurricane and the tropical depression that is forming in the Gulf, heading towards the Gulf right now, you have what looks like a giant shaggy monster, Snuffleupagus, like anywhere from Surfside to Baton Rouge into Lanes Brew, New Orleans, is getting hit with the Snuffleupagus monster of rain, thunder, lightning, wind. Oh, yes. But that's the whole thing is you got so many people. It's like, let's say you had energy. This is going to sound crazy. Remember, all planets are on the same side of the sun. So, like, you have good energy, bad energy. And, like, storms are like chaos. So while everybody's angry, it's like they have all that angry energy to use to make chaos and not solutions. So you got Thor and Storm, and we still can't fight all this. Like, the majority of these people are arguing about something. They're angry, arguing like one half is like, I wish the other half would die. And the other half is like, I wish the other half would die. Like, you guys are going crazy. And it didn't used to be like this before 9/11. Everybody didn't stand around cursing everybody like they were witches. And there are good witches and there are bad witches, man. It's just like Wizard of Oz. And so it's like, now everybody's a bad witch, cursing everybody. And I'm like, well, this sucks. I really wish they hadn't murdered Mitch Hedberg or Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison. So, yeah, like I said, if you were along the coast, anywhere from the top of South Carolina, almost up into Raleigh, if you can go west, kind of ride this one out for 2 days, I would do it. And I've gone to cities before where I can't really afford a hotel, but I stay awake and walk around the city, or just, it ain't always the funnest way to do it, but if you got to go hang out somewhere for 24, 48 hours, I'd give it a shot. Though, if somehow a miracle happens and this hurricane curves, please don't be mad at me. Like I said, if I'm in the same situation, if this thing forms into a tropical storm, I'm probably headed to Austin. Hey, thank you, Magic. I'm trying not to look at the comments because we have so much to talk about, and then I want to get it out, and then I'll look at the comments if that's okay. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if this thing in the practicing when I preach, if that right there forms, if it even starts to spin, dude, I'm probably headed to Austin. Although it's a decent city to try and hang out in for 48 hours. Okay, Scott Ferguson, here's the thing, dude. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but you're saying it's weather warfare. That means to me that you don't really understand everything you're dealing with here, because we've had earthquakes that are popping off like nobody's business. We've had so many volcanoes erupt. So are you telling me that they're magic harping the Earth's core and the volcanoes? I mean, you look at the sun. This is the sun right here. You have a giant coronal hole. You have, let's go over to the auroras. Like, the auroras used to only come every once in a while. The aurora has been here for at least 4 months. That means, well, thank you very much. That means our magnetic field is weak as shit as our poles move. So when you're like, hey, weather warfare, I don't mean to insult anybody, but that just means you really haven't done your research. Yes, they affect the weather in smaller ways, but on a overall grand global scale, and I'm saying as someone who's stared at the sun with my own eyeballs, and I have hours of video footage I've never shown, like, the sun has been acting weird, bro. Weird, man. And so as it changes, Earth is changing. So to say this is weather warfare, you're like kind of you're working for them, man, because that's not the whole story. You know, like, the whole story is that and the iPhone is not that fucking powerful. That one dude, you put one dude out in the middle of the ocean, he doesn't last long. And that, well, I had some weird thing there. Like, the pirates used to have some form of honor, and our nation was founded by pirates, by the way. That's not what they tell you in your history books, but it's the truth. So, pirates always had respect for the ocean, and you can call that God. And so, now that we don't have pirates, we just have gangsters and witches and tech guys. They don't have respect for shit. So, they got everybody thinking they control everything when they don't. Okay? So, this looks more like Jupiter and Jupiter's moons in the mean sea level pressure, and see these gravity waves. This is not something that like one person would be, unless it's Martians. If it's another planet, fine. We're being weather warfared from another planet. How do you want to fight that, bro? My answer is to unify as Earthlings. So sure, if it's weather warfare, the solution is to unify. If it's the sun changing, the solution is to unify as human beings. You know what I'm saying? Instead of letting 1% or 100 people own 90% of all the wealth in the world, to at least make sure that everyone has a place to sleep, food, and some type of medical care as we all work together to make things great. And then you can split it all up. But if you look at the mean sea level pressure field and the pressure, we are turning more into what they tell us Venus is, to where you have strips of high and low pressure. Grand solar minimum, but I'm saying it's bigger than, it's not, it's the, this thing we're doing here. We're going here again. Scary. And even say, what is even, like, what are you going to do, man? Like, I've talked to, like, even when I got to go to that NASA trip, I got to talk to the Raytheon people. I got to talk to the Lockheed Martin people. I got to talk to the Boeing people. I got to talk to Boston Mechanics people. I got to talk to, yeah. And I used to say, hey, if Lockheed Martin had to fight a war versus Boeing, Raytheon, who would win? And they always pick their own company. But what I'm saying is, yeah, dude, it's not weather warfare. Man. So, but on the grand solar minimum, I agree that grand solar minimum gets some of it right. Dang it. But the one thing, I showed this yesterday. I didn't have it all set up, but so you guys have to bear with me, because what we're talking about is this is why I don't look at the comments, because I'm trying to talk about the storms, and then people are trying to, oh man. And weather warfare shit gets me mad. Not that they aren't doing minor things, like they might be able to steer a hurricane here and there, but overall they're playing whack-a-mole, and they're far too fucking arrogant. See, and I tried not to cuss this time, but it didn't work, because every time you gotta, like, it's like when Jesus said, Lord, how long must I suffer these people? I'm like, man, sometimes I know what he meant when he said that, because I know it's like, I feel like sometimes, you know, I've been doing this research, and I've been doing a pretty great job, and most of the time I feel like people are being like, let me tell you what I think. I'm like, well, do your research and then show your results, and then you can preach to me during class. Wait, 08, 15, 09. And like I said, if I'm being a jerk today, it's because A, it's 9/11 today. And I'm fucking sick of 9/11 every day. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do because it's live. I'm gonna tell my 9/11 story. Everybody always tells, hey, where were you 9/11? I'm gonna tell my story. Here's where I was. And here's this whole thing right here, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm talking about is this star, this neutron star. It's been by the sun. I don't know if it's a neutron star or what it's shaped like, but it's been by the sun, and that's why they have stereo position where it is. And it rotates it. They have stereo aligned to its rotation. And so, if you will notice, let's go over to GFS. The shape of it, the shape of this exact thing is almost the shape of the exact rain that we're about to see. So I was living in Austin, Texas. At the time, I lived with my girlfriend. I was like 30. She was like 25. She was going to UT, getting her degree in literature. She was really smart, really beautiful. It didn't work out. And I managed an arcade on Guadalupe, which is right across from the university. And so I sat in the booth of the arcade. And all day and gave people change. And so, as I was taking the bus from my apartment to work, it was about 3 miles, 3.5. On the bus, a girl screamed, "Oh my God!" Like totally just, "Wow, my God!" And I was like, "What?" And she said that they hit the towers. So I'm on a bus, and I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, what the? Nobody knows what she's talking about. And then I go sit in my booth all day. I don't have a TV anywhere near, and everybody tells me the stories of what has happened. And that the newspaper rack, they used to have newspapers in racks back in the day. I don't know if you know that. You do now. And so I would read the newspapers. I used to read 5 newspapers a day back in the day. It was like Dallas Morning News, Fort Worth Star Telegram, USA Today, New York Times, and like, I forget what the other one was. Or the Austin paper. And so I would read all the updates. They would actually have those movie type breaking news. And it was the only time that ever happened. And so then I finally get home and see the Twin Towers. And it was like nothing. No story could capture what the hell it looked like, And it was just trippy. And so I walked out, I remember, and then my girlfriend, I don't know, she thought like somehow, like, we're watching this and you're mad at me for some reason. It was some dumb shit. And I just remember her arguing with me for like 4 hours about nothing. I'm like, can you please leave me alone? This footage is so crazy. So I had to go out and sit in the median, play guitar as cars drove right by. That's how I spent 9/11. That was such a weird day, man. Oh, and I read my Bible. I read the book of Revelation, trying to figure out, all right, what page is this happening? I thought I had to narrate, like, what the hell? That was a weird day. And so now we have like 9/11 birthday party every day or every year. It's like, never forget. And I was like, yeah, it was a shitty day, but why did Building 7 fall? Like, no, don't ask that question. That's a conspiracy theory. It's like, no, it's not a conspiracy. It's a question. There's a difference. And damn it, this is not working as well. Why will you not load? Oh. I need you to work, man. Yeah, it's not cooperating with me at all. Oh, and you know what else messed me up about 9/11? What really tripped me up, because that was one thing. I don't know if people remember. But the other thing was, like 2 or 3 days later, and I don't know if you're allergic to Taylor Swift gifts, then you might get hurt. It hurts me, but still I deal with the pain. Okay, what was I saying? Trying to find, like, okay, here. So then anthrax. They had weaponized anthrax like 3 days later. So they had 9/11, and then someone sent out weaponized anthrax to a bunch of places. I don't know if does anybody else remember. Like, it was like, okay, this feels like really Lex Luthor is attacking us. He's dismantling us completely. What is his third attack? This is like the seven seals being opened in the Bible. This is crazy. If knocking down the towers was first attack, second attack was anthrax, what's third attack can be? And then nothing ever happened after that. But then they traced the anthrax back to Texas A&M. And I like the Aggies. I'm like, wait, this is all very weird, man. You know, it's all very weird. So it's like the day we're celebrating, like, or not celebrating, it's like, don't forget. And it's being brought to us by the same people who bring us 24-hour coverage of school shootings and shootings at restaurants, you know? So it's like the media is trying to make us into a nation of victims, and then we argue the whole time, like, who is the biggest victim? Which group has been treated the shittiest on planet Earth? And, you know, there's a great Olympics for constant which group gets treated the worst. I'm like, hey, guys, we're all treated like shit. So why don't we band together, see if we can get a better system than this crappy one, which turns us into dog food. Well, Soylent Green, I believe, was the hipster bourgeoisie term for it. So, yep, we're back to Planet X. I mean, Nibiru. Jupiter, Herculubus. And I don't know. So, yeah, I don't even. It just seems weird that. Were we having hurricanes on last 9/11 day? I get people in the truth community, even that one holiday. I like all the holidays. The holidays, like Halloween and Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving. And so then in the truth community, I got all the people, because like 90% of the truth community is based on calling people out as non-Christians or evil or Illuminati. So I'm like, man, every year I like to dress up as a superhero for Halloween. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I dress up as a superhero. And it's okay. And I get to pretend I'm that superhero. And then like the truth community is like, you are serving Satan by dressing up as Neo from the Matrix. Well, yeah, dude, it's just me dressing up in black with sunglasses. And, you know, that's not evil in my opinion. It's fun, except Neo doesn't talk much and he drinks a lot. So you have to know that ahead of time. But I want to go as Longshot this year from the X-Men. But I have to get in shape to wear all leather. Okay, I'm reading comments now. So, how many people in the room? Anybody know? I Dream of Jeannie. Oh, yeah, that's a great costume, by the way. You know, because they're the 2 days where, like, your good luck omens for me. Like, if I get to kiss a pretty lady on Halloween or New Year's, that's a good sign that I'll probably get to kiss the lady for Thanksgiving or Christmas. And so, if I want like a plus 100 points to getting a chance to kiss a pretty lady, the costume I will wear is the Dread Pirate Roberts from The Princess's Bride. Man, because A, he's a cool, fun dude, and B, I guess the ladies love Dread Pirate Roberts, as you wish. So yeah, it's fun to, like, I don't know, who am I going to be? Neo? And that one's always cheap. You just need the right sunglasses and all black and boots and trench coat. And then Dread Pirate Roberts is always fun. Oceans are crazy. Yeah, the waters are hot as hell. Okay, what do we got here? 85 degrees, and that's at 7 p.m. And yeah, I think this can be Cat 5. Although, let's go back and look at the. And this is a hard time for me because I don't necessarily like reporting on the storm as it hits, though I'm going to try to this year as much as you guys want me to or need me to. I like to, that's why I report on it like 2 weeks before it happens so we can get everybody out of harm's way. When it hits, it's hard for me to handle sometimes. Especially now that I might have one hit me in Texas or us. All right, let's look at them all. I have fun doing this. There's 2. Okay, so yeah, I've taken the day off as a super respectable scientist, astronomer, although I'm still your planetary defense commander. And so I'm just, I'm a dude, a man child, just like you today. So you're going to have to bear with me and let me be human, or at least half human. Oahu? Is Oahu near Guam? Wait, Oahu? Oh, sorry, my brain. Well, as I was saying, it looks like they're going to get hit by a pretty heavy tropical storm. Unfortunately, why does he not have a lot on Olivia? See if I got the good Himwari. Being human is all we can do. But we can always do better. And sometimes, on a personal standard, I can have moments of perfection. I'm never perfect all the time, but I can be perfect in the moment. I've done it a few times. It's pretty cool. What I'm looking for, the Himwari. Shit. Man, my organizations suck. All right, then let's look on here. Okay, what they have is, they have it going over Hawaii as a tropical storm. But with all the rain that they've been getting, let's go to windy. Yeah, I Dream of Jeannie is a great costume. Though, some would argue, if you dress up as I Dream of Jeannie, the patriarchy wins. Yeah, I'm a white man. I lose the who's the biggest victim on the planet contest right now. Apparently, I'm the winner. I'm like, shit, this shit sucks. Everything sucks. How am I the winner? I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm not trying to complain. I'm trying to be funny. It's not working. All right, so wind gust. We're going to watch. This is Hawaii. All right, so this is the European, the GFS, and the NAM. I forget. Is Oahu it's the big one, right? I've never been to Hawaii. I'd like to go. Is Oahu the big one? That's another thing. I haven't got a lot of sleep lately. It's been like a hell of a year. I never get to cuddle. Oh my God. So this only this still has, they're still going to get hit with what looks like 50, 60. Those would be hurricane gusts. I mean, I hope he'll be okay, but Hawaii's about to get a whole lot more rain and a whole lot more wind. Maybe it's a good time to have him come home till the end of the year. My internet has dropped to 0. No. Okay, this is GFS. Oh man, I gotta change the title of this video. It's way too ranty to have like something that makes it sound like an informative title. I planned to be informative, it just didn't work. So yeah, that. Oh, how the Big Island? Anybody know? Thank you very much. Okay, so where's that GFS? So let's put the wind marker here. Where did you go? Okay, and then I'll just run it through all three models. I'll do that with Florence too, and then the Gulf thing, and then I'll go buy a tire. We should have Mitch Hedberg Day. And everybody's supposed to listen to their favorite or new stand-up comedy for 2 hours that whole day, or watch a few hours of your favorite sitcom ever. Rock is a great show. Friends was a great show. It really was. It was really funny. Seinfeld was a great show. These are all my opinion. Comedy varies. Cheers was a great show. Oh, the Nam. All right, so it looks like Oahu's going to be safe on wind, although the middle islands could be taking a hit. And I want to mention again that all year, kind of thing when I'm talking to most pro meteorologists, they get big into climatology, which is the history of weather. And they're like, well, this has never happened before in climatology. I'm like, well, dude, this ain't before, bro. And so, even though this won't be like a hurricane hit that I predicted, it is just because it was a hurricane and it's just now become a tropical storm, and then it's going to hit Hawaii. The maps and models make it look like it's not going to be that bad, but I haven't seen estimates yet that have gotten storm totals right. Well, I guess, I don't know, but I haven't heard a lot of numbers on Hawaii. Because they got the lane storm pretty right. Yeah, maybe I should stop talking. My brain is fried like eggs. Now I'm confused. If I ever do go vegetarian, can I or can I eat eggs? Oh, yeah, wow. Let's watch this together, baby. But that's the whole thing about the power plants. Like, the power plants, we're about to get. The reason I'm not talking about the power plants much and the dams that are going to break much is because if you look at it, I think over the next month, we could get hit by like 4 or 5 hurricanes. So we're just in stage 1 that hasn't even started. So there's a whole lot of, and like I said, that's why the river levels, and that's why I've been talking about this shit for 5 years. And we haven't done much, so I don't, in part, I feel bad, like I haven't done a very good job, but then when I watch people chasing after, like, Roseanne Barr stories and Omarosa stories or just whatever stupid shit, like, I didn't think everybody would be as gullible as they are now, you know? Like, I've tried to say it as crystal clear as possible. Our economy, at least for 134 years, has been based on perpetual war and oil prices, and that there will be no technologies superior to that, and that your media and even our religions will be set to set us against each other from 1888 to now. And so that's just the deal, man. That is the truth. And ain't like few people want to be like, yeah, he's right. Even though Churchill and John F. Kennedy were like, yeah, military industrial complex. It's totally real, bro. It's totally real. Even when Wesley Clark said, we're going to invade Iraq, Syria, Iran, he listed out all the countries. Like, we're being made to fight each other. Whether, for whatever reason, man, woman, black, white, gay, straight, Russia, America, China, Israel, Iran, Syria, like Christian, Muslim, Satanist, whatever. Like, we're all being totally set to. It's just like Game of Thrones by one like tiny little group, and we do it. And people are like, did you read the Bible? It said we're supposed to hate each other, and then just tweet about it all day until the end of the world, till Jesus comes. That's what the Bible says. Oh my God, this is the third seal. And another thing, nobody's really good at Bible prediction and decoding. I tried my whole life. I'm decent, okay, but you don't hear me going, this is how it's going down. I know, Chad's weird. But I know when you say Freemasonry, to me that means the guys who built your buildings, man. Like you're talking about, they're the craftsmen, the 300. Like, they ain't calling the shots, bro. They ain't the ones putting the triple Martian pyramids on all their fucking clothes. You know that, I don't know, if the base of your knowledge comes from YouTube videos, it ain't that deep, you know? It's way more complex. Like, they've been planning this shit for hundreds of years, 10 years, 20 years. The people follow the money. You got to be a real detective. And if you can fit your theory in a bumper sticker, it probably isn't that great. Because civilization is a very dynamic, complex process. So if like whatever you think is controlling this dynamic process can be defined in one sentence, it's probably not correct. And as my stepfather, who passed away this year, when we would have these discussions, he was Air Force. He was in ICBM silo. Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Silo Commander or whatever. And he used to say, no, dude, it's Occam's razor. Trust me, it's Occam's razor. Meaning that it's just like nobody has a really good plan. They want you to think they have a good plan. They want you to think they're totally in power. They want you to think they're indestructible. They want you to think they're demigods. They want you to think they're like Superman, except he's Lex Luthor, but they're not. They're fallible, just like you. They all get that nut in their shit that hurts. You know, sometimes they get really scared. Sometimes they're like, oh my God, did I screw everything up? They just have way more money. And they probably had people in their family who did whatever they do for a long time so it could show them the ropes. And then each individual pockets has a little bit better technology or, data infrastructure composition. So, you know, I don't know. That's what, like, most of this shit is just here to confuse everybody. And so that's the deal. One day, man, what? Okay, well, I apologize if I offended anybody's feelings. It's 9/11 day. I don't know how I'm supposed to act 17 years later. You know? And I am a Norse Jedi Christian. Woohoo! Sometimes people are like, you can't do that. I'm like, that's like telling American Indians they can't be Christian. They can both worship God, Jesus, and the Great Spirit. And it's cool, dude. You're like, nope. You gotta be a Baptist. You gotta be whatever religion I am. Like, nah, dude, I just have to love animals and God and realize how Christ was a great man and then they totally ripped him to shreds and killed him. And we can't allow that to stand. I don't have to push my beliefs onto you. But we all have to work together if we want to keep civilization working. You know, if you want butter and French fries and ketchup to show up at diners all over the world, you know, America, We got to work together. If you want electricity to stay on, we got to work together. If you want to have some type of a system where violence isn't the actual currency, then that system wouldn't last long. And we got to work together. We got a lot of fucking problems, man. Somebody's always like, yeah, stop cussing. Well, I'm trying, but these times are challenging. So, okay, this is my practice. I'm going to go buy a tire, and then, because my car's been shaking like crazy, and then I'll come back, and I'll get all super professional. So I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. And if somehow you didn't like this or agree with anything I said, I'm sorry. I tried to be perfect, but I guess it just didn't work. You guys stay cool. And if you are like at the top of South Carolina, I mean, if I had to say, yeah, pretty much if you're in from like here to here, I would definitely go west if you can afford it, or just be ready for this to be worse than any other storm you've ever been in, and for the infrastructure not to handle it. But I'll be back in a couple hours. Stay cool. And send cool thoughts if you can. And I'd like a date for Halloween, so spread the word. Only single women, though. Only single women who are no longer like in love with old boyfriends or hung up on the past. You gotta be over 21. I don't want to date someone if she can't even get into a bar. But it's legal for me to date anybody over 18. I want you to know that. Everybody have a great day. What am I going to go for Halloween? Dread Pirate Roberts or Long Shot? We'll see. That's a long way away. All right. Everybody stay cool. I love you.